Hello, welcome to Karla's Clever Crafts. Today I am going to be making a wreath with this adorable gnome sign that says welcome and has leopard print. This wreath will be perfect for use during fall, but it is also versatile in that it can be used for every day and year round. So we'll go ahead and get started. I have already attached my cable mounts to the back using my DAB Rapid Fuse glue. I get this glue from Amazon, and I believe the last time I ordered it was about $6.99 a bottle. A bottle lasts for a very long time, so the overall expense is not very much. So we'll lay that to the side. I'm going to be using this 14-inch Dollar Tree frame. I find that these are very cost effective, so I use those on a lot of my wreath designs, nearly all of them. And I like to stick to like a 24 to 26 inch wide wreath, and so this is perfect to give me the final width of the wreath that I want. I have pre-wired it with 18 pipe cleaners. We have 6 on the inside and 12 on the outside. If you want to, you could snap a screenshot of this to refer back to later so you can see how I wire my frames. There are 6 sections, which a section is in between these 2 crossbars here. So there's 6 of these all the way around, and I put 3 in each section, 1 on the inside 2 wires and then 2 on the outside 2 wires. Okay. So if you need a tutorial on how I wire my frames for different mesh methods, leave me a comment below because I do have those, and I could send you the link for that directly to that video. Okay, we are going to be using 2 different meshes, and this first one is a metallic gold cream mesh. So the color of the actual mesh is cream, and then it's got gold metallic strips running through it. We're going to be making cruffles. I'm going to show you real quick how I do one of them, and then I do have the rest pre-made. I've lost my scissors. So I'll just use this to hold that down for a second. There they are. Okay, so to make my cruffle, which is basically curls and a ruffle combined, I just fold over the edge and roll it to make a curl on this first end. Okay, place a clip to hold that curl in place, and then turn that away from me so that I can make one on the opposite end. Okay, and then I'm going to, for this design, put my curls face down, scrunch up the middle, just small pinches at a time to give us like that ruffled look at the edges of our mesh. So this is what your cruffle will look like. And we can start with any of the pipe cleaners. We're going to work in order today, so you can just pick one and start anywhere. Okay, and just make sure that you pull that real tight and give it a couple twists. I'm going to go ahead and pull these inside ones to the outside so I don't miss any as I work my way around. And then I just like to open up my next one. And we're going to actually be using a 2-1 pattern today. So I'm using 2 different meshes, but I'm going to do 2 of this cream color. And then in the third pipe cleaner, I have this black and beige. It's like a check pattern that I am going to use for a couple reasons. One, the colors I feel like really match our sign terrifically. And then also this mesh is a little bit thinner, a more lightweight mesh. This is heavier and more substantial, so it will give us some depth and some more substance to our wreath. The reason I'm doing the 2-1 pattern is because, and you'll see this as we get done putting the mesh on, I want more of this light color framed around my sign to make my sign pop. Okay, so let's go ahead and put in another set here. I've got all these cruffles pre-made to help us move along. And again, I'm pulling these really, really tight Everything is going to be built on top of these pieces of mesh, so we want to make sure they're good and stable. So two, again, we're doing 2 in 1, so 2 of the cream color. Open my next pipe cleaner, and then we're going to do another black and beige. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then I will be right back to show you what it looks like once we get all of the mesh laid in with our 2-1 pattern. Just real quick, I do want to mention the pieces of mesh are cut to 18 inches long, and it is 10-inch wide mesh. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I've got it all put together with our mesh. We've got 18 pieces total, 1 in each of our pipe cleaners. So now I am going to go ahead and attach our sign, and I've kind of laid it here in the middle so you could see what I was mentioning earlier about how having this extra cream kind of makes our sign pop a little bit instead of just blending into the mesh that matches so perfectly. Okay, so that is the reason that I did the 2-1 pattern today. You don't have to do that. That's entirely up to you. I just thought it would be a good idea to make our sign stand out. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I've already added one of our pipe cleaners to the first cable mount. I wanted to show you how easy these cable mounts make attaching your sign. It has 4 holes, 1 on each side. And you can just feed your pipe cleaner through either side to side or top to bottom, whichever you prefer. And then we just twist it a good couple times, pulling it tight. Flip our sign over, and we are ready to attach. To attach my sign, I'm just going to come down in between a couple of the pieces of mesh here to these 2 inside rings on the frame. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure. And I'm just going to wrap my pipe cleaner around those 2 rings, position my mesh back the way that I want it to lay, move my sign, and ensure that I have it centered, both left to right, top to bottom, or at least centered as much as possible. And then I don't want to mash down all my pretty little curls, so I'm just going to try to fix those. Okay. And I'm just going to pull down slightly because I don't want to mash all my beautiful mesh there in the middle flat. I want the sign to look cohesive with the wreath, but I also want it kind of on the top of the design, not sunk clear to the back, flattening all of my mesh. And then I'm just twisting, turn it over and show you, twisting the pipe cleaner around itself here. And then I'm just going to take this and wrap it up around the inside ring here so that that sharp point on the pipe cleaners doesn't poke anybody's door. Okay, and then I'm just going to turn it around here and do the same thing. Hopefully turning it upside down didn't shift my stuff too much. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. So make sure I'm not mashing any of my curls. Looks like I did mash some down here. We'll adjust those. Now again, I'm going to go around those 2 inside rings with the pipe cleaner, fix my mesh back so it's laying correctly. And then I'm just going to pull down slightly, not real hard. And then again, I'm just twisting the pipe cleaners around each other. And then I'm going to wrap the end around the ring so the sharp pipe cleaner ends are protected. Okay, and that's how easy it is to attach with those cable mounts. There's lots of ways you can attach. I've done it numerous ways, and over time have learned different techniques for doing it, and I really like the cable mount, so that's what I'm sticking with at the moment. Okay, now we are going to, sometimes I cut off my pipe cleaners when I go to add my ribbon, I cut off some of them so that we only are working with 12. Today we're going to actually work with all 18 pipe cleaners, so I won't be cutting any off. And then we have this adorable mesh that has this gold fringe trim and the cheetah pattern or leopard pattern. Not sure how to tell the difference. That coordinates very well with our sign. I have dovetailed all of these, except I did save one to dovetail with you so that you can see how I do that. Just fold it in half, lining up your corners. Take your scissors and you're going to cut from the folded side up toward the cut or the wired open side. Okay, so just at an upward angle. And then you get a nice little finished end. Make sure that you do both ends. Okay. And then we're going to also be using 2 other ribbons. I have this sheer gold that I thought tied in really nicely with the gold in the mesh, with the sign, and the gold in the ribbons. I'm using the sheer because it's not overwhelming or overpowering of the other elements in our wreath. And then I have this black and beige burlap ribbon. Again, I think matches our sign really well. So we are going to do a pattern, and we'll just go right ahead and start with our cheetah here. And I'm going to put it on the inside. So when I say inside, remember we have 6 that are on the inside 2 rings. That's the 6 I'm going to put our cheetah pattern in. So make sure if you're wanting to follow this same design that you start with one of the inside pieces of mesh. Twist your pipe cleaner 3 or 4 times, clip it off, leaving about a 1/2 inch so that you can fold that down and squeeze it and secure your ribbons. And then just shape your ribbons however you want them to lay and come to your very next pipe cleaner. Okay, and now I am going to do the gold. I just scrunch in the middle and bee it back towards myself on my table. That way I can then just lay it straight down in, and it's pretty much already facing and laying the way I want it to. Again, twist. Remember to leave about a 1/2 inch to fold down and squeeze. Okay, open our next one, and we're going to now use our 3rd ribbon. We are only using 3 ribbons. We have 18 pipe cleaners, so we need 6 pieces of each ribbon. The ribbons are cut to 12 inches. And I'm just V'ing that back towards myself again. I'm doing all these the exact same way. Straight into our pipe cleaner. Snip that off. Okay, and we are going to just repeat this pattern. So now we need to go back to our leopard print. And we, every 3rd pipe cleaner is going to be a centerpiece. So if you're using 3 ribbons like I am, you are just naturally going to fall on that middle one with your leopard print. I'm doing the leopard print on the middle ones because I want it to be the most prominent ribbon. Okay, so let's shape that. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the leopards on top, so all the way around. And you don't have to do this, it's personal preference, but I really want those to pop, so I'm going to pull that out. Open up my next one. Next is our gold. And as you can see, it's a nice little shimmer, but it's not overwhelming. So that is the reason I selected this ribbon. And I told you in the beginning that I would tell you where I got my supplies. So this sheer gold ribbon is actually from Sam's Club. If you do not have a membership, you can probably find it. pretty much any other craft store or something very similar. If you do not have a membership and you buy lots of ribbon, you might want to consider checking Sam's Club. They come out with a collection, ribbon collection, twice a year, and it is usually a pretty wide selection, and it is $8 for 50 yards. So it is the best price around for ribbon. You do have to watch the quality sometimes. I'll get ribbon there, and some of it will just be the absolute best quality ever, and then I'll get other ribbons there and be so disappointed with it that I don't even want to use it. So do check their little ribbon swatches that they keep hanging there to make sure that it is a good quality ribbon that you're comfortable working with. The other ribbons that I'm using, as well as the sign, all came from Craft Outlet, craftoutlet.com. I buy the majority of my mesh and a lot of my ribbons from there. They have great prices, great quality, and they offer free shipping if you spend $69 or more. And then they also have a point system, which gives you a certain percentage off if you purchase over a certain dollar amount per year. I think presently I get 7% off of all of my orders because of how frequently I order from them. And the more you order, the more of a discount. I think you have to spend $1,000 per year to get 7% off. Okay, and then this mesh came from Amazon. I found a super great deal on some ribbon and mesh bundles on Amazon this past year, several months back. And this was one of the meshes that I received with that. I'm sure Craft Outlet has something similar so that you wouldn't have to go and buy from all these different places that I'm mentioning. This black and beige mesh I got from Hobby Lobby. That is something that they carry, I think, year round. I'm almost out of it, so I'm gonna have to check on that soon. But it has been some time since I bought mine. And please, if you're buying from Hobby Lobby, only buy when their items go on sale. When they have their sales, they're 40–50% off. So do your best to extend your craft budget by only shopping during their sales. Okay, I'll pull these out a little bit more. I just really want this mesh to be a part of the final design. It's so pretty. Okay. And I have just been, while rambling about the supplies, following our same pattern of the leopard, the gold, and then this black and beige diagonal check ribbon. And I am going to finish up this pattern all the way around, and then I will be right back. I have finished up adding all of our ribbon tails around the outside. This is what it looks like, our final wreath design. This gives us overall, it's about 24 to 25 inches wide, 24 to 25 inches tall, and about 5 to 6 inches deep, which is most of my wreaths are made in this size because I can ship them more economically, and they just tend to do better for me in my shop as far as sales goes. This seems to be what my customer base prefers. It's a nice size, very visible from, on your door, and shows very well, but it is also somewhat economical. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Next, I am going to be doing a tutorial using this super cute breast cancer awareness combined with Halloween wreath. I think this is absolutely perfect for the month of October so that you can celebrate 2 in 1 and not have to choose one or the other. So if you are interested in this tutorial, please subscribe to my channel so you will be notified when I upload new content. If you like this wreath that we made today, or you learned anything new, or just for any reason at all, please give me a thumbs up. That helps me grow my channel and continue to bring you guys free tutorials and content, as well as to teach you techniques and suppliers and things of that nature. I am grateful to you guys for helping me out, and we'll see you again soon.